Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Tonight, we are talking about the case of Spencer and Monique Tepe, who unfortunately perished at their home at the hand of allegedly Michael McKee, Monique Tepe's ex husband. We're learning new things about Michael McKee, and I'm going to tell you the theories that I think drove Michael over the edge to where he lost all self control and managed to take out two beautiful people that unfortunately will never get to see their children grow up. Such a sad story. Things are unfolding. Also, Michael McKee is soon to be back in Columbus, Ohio. Got a lot to talk about on the other side of this.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace, smile through pain with a painted face. They called me too loud, too much, too strong, but honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's a twist. I turned my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. I shine like grace in a reckless world. You can test my faith, you can shake my plan, but I'll rise again. Just watch me judged by the gloss, not the cause. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm an unbreakable soul, dressed in truth and pearls. The fire don't scare me, it lights my world. You can doubt my voice, but you'll hear my name. I'm holy and hood, and I'm done with shame. For everyone called too much, too loud, too real. You're not to anything. You're exactly what power looks like. I'm an unbreakable soul, through the fight and flame. My scars are stories, my strength, my faith. Faith in my heart, fire in my curls, forever divine. Clutch them pearls.
What? Whoops. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. You have a lot of options anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is January 19th, 2026. It is currently 7:16 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Bonjour. Hello, my beautiful pearls. Thank you all so much for joining me. Tonight, we are talking about the Spencer and Monique Tepe case, and it just keeps getting darker and darker. But there is good news that Michael McKee they are planning to extradite him very, very soon. And it's time that he needs it's time to get the show on the road, right? It's time to get this show moving. Good to see everyone. Thank you, Giggle. Appreciate you. Hello, Shell. Lisa, good to see you. Shari, Robin, Wendy, Giggle, good to see you. Lisa, Sherry, good to see you. Connie, who else? Sheila, Carol, Peggy, Red Moon Bliss. It's me, Jen. Flip the script. Butterfly to the kisses. Pam, Tina, Connie, Allison, Rotui, Sherry again. Let's see here. Tina Kent, Pam, Allison, Wendy, Faye, Kim, Chaos. Good to see everyone. Oops, I missed one. Little black eyed bear. Hello. Good to see everyone. Hey, pink roses, everyone. Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that this evening because I'm going to give you guys one of maybe like 5 or 6 theories why I have, in my opinion, and I believe this will be one of the theories that I give you today. I market. I've been thinking about this really hard. I believe that one of these motives that I'm going to talk about today is the reason why Michael McKee did this. One of the reasons. And we're going to talk about that. But guys, before we get started, if you don't mind, for my live chat and for my replay crew, how are you? Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Would be so very, very thankful. Would really, really appreciate that. YouTube is switching up the algorithm on us. And every creator right now is going bonkers right now. Something's changing with YouTube right now, and it's messing us all up. So please, and if you after this, if you want to share one of those hypes, hype it up for your girl. Okay. All right. So I'm a guy, but I just said girl. I'll get 1,100 comments. Justin, you want to be a girl so bad. Just go ahead and embrace it. I'm happy with my $2. All right. YouTube went crazy. It kind of did. It kind of did. Really did. Okay. Anywho, got a lot to talk about this evening, and I really want you guys to really comment on this because the question is why, after 8, 9 years of old dum dum, Michael McKee, why do this, right? Why? That's the question. Why, after 8 or 9 years, would someone just suddenly do something so egregious, right? 9 degrees there. Yeah, we're on a 2 hour delay tomorrow. I think the high here tomorrow is 3. 3, right? Um, but why after 8 or 9 years? Well, there is a couple different theories that I'm going to give you, and I want to see what you guys have to think on this, okay? So let me know. All right, so my first one, number one, narcissistic injury. Is Michael McKee a narcissist, right? He reached his critical mass. It made him go over the edge, right? This is one of my theories. She looked happier than ever, right? His God complex couldn't take it any longer. She had, oh, you're never going to marry another doctor. You're never going to marry another doctor. You are never going to have someone as good as me, right? She remarries up, at least in his mind, right? Oh, I told you you would never be nothing without me. And damn, she made it. She made it to the top. Remember, the cream always rises to the top, right? Cream always rises to the top. She has children. She's visibly thriving, living her best life, right? Just bought a new house a few years ago. You can't even pay me my $1,200 with 23% insurance. Mm, right? I told her she would be nothing without me. Flip the script says there are men that want to trap you in a dependency relationship that are not happy themselves. He left awkward and alone and found someone else, and he is alone. Yeah, yep, exactly, exactly. She left me while I was at work providing for us. Lafferty says, I think he never experienced failure in his past. He was good at everything he tried. Then this hit him years of resentment that he got dumped. And then the malpractice case, mine exploded. We're getting there, Lafferty. Yep. All of these combined with probable steroids, in my opinion. Could be. Okay. Here we go. Guys, hit that thumbs up, please. Share the live out. Become a member of the Pearl family. I'd love to have you. Um, and I got a mouse that is I'm not used to, and it has this side button. It has this side button, and I am so not used to it. And when I press it, it sends everything back. So it kicks me out. Okay. All right. Number two, delayed obsession that never ended. He's the type that checks quietly on her social media, right? Always watching, keeping tabs through her friends or family, maybe. You know, some of the family may still, whenever a breakup happens, sometimes you'll still talk to certain family members. It can happen, turning into David Copperfield. That can happen. And you might think, oh, he's weird or, he just wasn't made for her, but he's a good guy. Oh, they might have just asked about Monique, right? Drives by occasionally, right? Fixated on milestones. I would say yes. I would say his Nova Scotian cousin. His Nova Scotian cousin for sure, right? Some people, milestones, certain dates can trigger them. Oh, we're getting close. They're getting close to their 5-year marriage. I thought they would be divorced by now. I thought she would be begging to come back to me, right? Every time their marriage, divorce date goes by, it's a trigger. Every time they got married, it's a trigger. Every birthday, it's a trigger. When they first moved in together, it's a trigger. Some people can't let go of the past. They can't do it, right? Every time he looks, it still hurts. Delayed obsession. I'm sorry, that one's right. The last act. I wish they would let us know she had an ex, lol, but I guess they had their reasons. Does anyone know the last time she ever saw him? I have no idea. There's Mauricio. How are you, darling? Good to see you. Good to see you. Not to mention it's the holidays, his malpractices. Oh, we're going to get to it. Don't you worry. These are my top theories here. He never wanted to give a divorce. Monique had paid enough money to get, yes, she hired a private judge. Remember that private judge. She's like, andale pronto. Let's go. If he is going down, he's taking others down with him. You're going down, I'm going down too. Right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The last act mentality. He feels ruined anyway, right? Kind of like a laugh a day just said in chat a moment ago. Well, this is a man who's really never had failure, right? Everything he has done in his life, he has excelled at, right? It doesn't matter if it was in high school, right? Um, just all the accolades that he has. Yeah, retweet. Yeah. Um, come on, guys, please hit the thumbs up. Come on. Collapse. Um, just a strong obsession, right? Act for revenge, right? Not the future. I can't wait any longer, right? And in my opinion, that's the reason he unalived them. He couldn't stand to know that Monique was succeeding, was having a good life, married up, right? I'm miserable. If I suffer, you're going to suffer, right? You left me high and dry. I was at work. You just left, abandoned me, just like my original, you know, birth parents. Remember, his exes said he didn't go deep. He didn't go deep at all. Shauna, how you doing, girl? Thank you so much. Welcome to the Pearl family. Really do appreciate you.
Donation. Okay. That right there.
Welcome to the Pearl family, girl.
VIP.
How you doing?
No announcements. No extras. Just somebody who moves different. That's rockstar energy.
You're a rock star, girl. Not going
Legend
deep
status.
is a sign of narcissism. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Grace, good to see you. Thank you so much, dear Shauna. I really do appreciate you very, very much, my dear. Thank you. Thank you. Kisses. Thank you, guys. Y'all are sweet. And so the pew pews SHOTS, are symbolic, right? Final. I am done with it. Can't take it anymore. If I suffer, you suffer. The triggering event, we don't know yet. Obviously, something triggered, right? Obviously, something triggered. You don't go do this after 8 or 9 years unless something triggers it. Now, he could have been obsessing the entire time, and he probably was. Probably was. But I believe there was something that just drove him over the edge, right? For instance, Monique or Spencer could post something online that may have nothing to do at all with Michael McKee. But damn it all, in his mind, oh, that's a dig at me. Interpret anything that is moons away from his thoughts. But he can see it as more rejection, more of an insult, right? Miss Lori, how you doing, girl? Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you.
In the chat, that's facts, drop love, now we running it back, so mad. Big name, big flame, you the tag on a plaque, say your name, everybody like, who's that? You ain't regular, you red, that shine, came through, made the whole page, rewind, gold star, big heart, that's your design, when you slide in this highlight time. You a legend in the chat, that's facts, every drop, put the crown on max. Big win, big grin, when you come on back, hit him twice, let him know it's a wrap.
Because it's you a legend, girl. Thank you so much. If you received that Pearl membership, make sure you give our girl Lori a big old thank you. Appreciate you, my beautiful darling. Thank you so much. Let me know if that music in the background's too loud. It should be just a teeny bit in the background. Thank you so much, my dear. It's a dance party. Yes, we have to do it. It saves my sanity. Right? What if Michael, right, served papers by the court? When I say serve papers by the court, I don't mean serve papers by the court via Monique. I mean, he knows he's getting papers served, or they're trying to serve him papers, right? He can see that. He can remember this. He can remember that. You heard it here first. As, oh, divorce papers. I got served divorce papers years ago. That was my first big failure. That was my first big failure. Now I'm getting papers served again. I'm getting papers served again. This is my next big failure. And those papers that was served to me 8 or 9 years ago ruined my good image. It ruined my life. And now this is the enchilada, the cream on top of the cream. I'm going down now, right? She ruined my personal life. Now this is ruining my professional life. I have nothing to live for. I have nothing to gain. I have succeeded in everything. And it started with those papers, those divorce papers. And I have went downhill ever since then. So, you know what? I'm going to take out what started this. Right? What about she overhears a life update, right? Or not even a truthful life update. There is something about he talks to an old friend or a high school acquaintance, right? That maybe they went to high school together or college or something together. You just don't know how people know each other. And someone told her, like Michael could have said, "Oh, have you seen Monique lately?" or anything like that. And then the person be like, "Oh, yes. Oh my God. They are doing so much for the community. Um, I know you guys were once married, or maybe they didn't even know they were married. But she's so happy now. She's got 2 kids. Spencer's getting ready to start a practice. Doesn't mean it needs to be true, right? The person, they might have not even known all the information. It's anything is possible, right? It just is real to him. And also, how you and I perceive information, we may understand it different. And especially someone that already feels wronged, already feels bruised, their ego. Mm-mm. They're going to take everything, not with a grain of salt, right? They're taking it with Mount Everest. It can't happen to them. Can't happen to them, right? Hey, Miss Summers Army, how you doing, girl? Thank you so much for your support. Really do appreciate you. Been working so much. Miss you, my friend. Love, loves.
VIP.
Appreciate you, Miss Summers Army. Much love to you, darling.
No extras.
No extras.
Just somebody who moves different.
That's right.
That's rockstar energy.
Love you, darling. Appreciate you.
Legend status.
You're a legend. You're an OG gangsta. And thank you so much, my darling. Really do appreciate you. Let's see here.
Donation.
Thank you so much.
You're a legend.
Thank you so much, Miss Dolores. Thank you, Justin. You are appreciated. Appreciate you, Miss Dolores. It's so good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for your support, my love. Maybe he found the court error when he could have, yes, when he was researching rather himself online in Ohio. We found the error by searching his name after all. Yes, and it was nothing but an error. That's all it was. Finality. Ooh, God, this new mouse, it's killing me. Finality, panic, loss of access. What happens whenever you cut someone off? Especially someone that feels like they have control over you, or you were the best thing that ever happened to them. Right? Even if, for instance, there was a friend, a mutual friend, someone they went to school with, a family member that Michael could always get a little bit of access of Monique. Just a little bit of access, right? Just check up on every once in a while, just casually mention Monique, right? But then Monique sees the family member, whatever, and they're like, yeah, guess who I seen recently, or who called me, or who messaged me, or whoever. Yeah, Michael did. And Monique says, please, if he asks about me, don't tell him again. Don't tell him again, because he's obsessed. And he's trying to get through me through other people. And then Michael tries to get in touch with that person again later. And they're kind to Michael and they'll have a conversation with him. But when the topic of Monique comes up, they say, listen, Michael, I'm just not comfortable talking about that. And, Monique, I'm just going to respect her request. That is finality. Okay, it's totally cut off now, right? Totally cut off now. He doesn't want to cease to exist in her life. Yeah, I thought she would go out, come back, begging to me. I thought, oh, let her, go do whatever. She's going to see. She's going to see that I was the best thing out there for her. Right? Or I'd rather be in prison than erased. Right? At least I'll be alive and I will get the last say. I will get the last say. Thank you for thumbing it. Thank you so much, my dear. Appreciate you. Okay. All right, guys. Guess what? Our friend Brian Enton, make sure it is linked in the description for my replay crew. If you're not subbed up to Brian Enton, please make sure you do so, because Brian Enton is with News Nation, but he also has his own channel now, and he's got a lot of the access. He isn't alive, and that's all that anger just makes him dead inside. I think he was kind of dead inside before this even started. Like he's very surface level, right? Okay. This credit's going to go to Brian Enton. Here we go. Brian Enton. All right, here we go. How do I switch this? Okay, there we go. Okay. Listen to this.
Nice to see you, Dr. Jordan. We've spoke about this case before. The first thing I want to ask you about is this new information that's come out that Dr. McKee was using a silencer when he
We're going to get to the silencer and all that
Monique
too.
and Spencer, according to police. What do you make of that?
Brian, it shows a lot of foresight and planning. And that is an add-on that you do not need just to go to the shooting range for target practice. I mean, you get a silencer or a suppressor when you want to kill someone. And also, if you want to fire multiple shots, which also increases your risk of being hurt, you want to kill someone and not be hurt, maybe by the children or the baby down the hall or the dog who might start barking or the neighbors who might hear shots. So, I mean, the fact that you go
This new mouse is going to be the death of me. I cannot with this new mouse. I gotta find my other mouse.
evidence, and it also might suggest that he anticipated that with the first shot, the other person in the room might awake and attack him. And so the silencer might buy him extra time. And by all accounts, from what we know about the crime scene, it looks like Monique was shot in the chest once, and possibly that was his first target. Spencer awoke because Spencer was shot a number of times. Perhaps Spencer was trying to fight back, but the silencer would have made it possible to get out of the house without people noticing.
Could it also play into premeditation, because they've now made them aggravated murder charges? They've said premeditation. Could they use the silencer to try and prove that he went and bought a silencer?
Absolutely. I mean, that shows the planning and forethought. Nobody just accidentally goes into a gun shop and buys a silencer unless they plan to use
that's
it.
That's exactly right. Think about that. Nobody just goes and buys a silencer. Well, you don't go buy a silencer unless you don't want. What are silencers for? Let's start with that. A silencer is for someone who wants their pew pew to not sound loud, intent to hide, right? And they're making a lot better silencers now. I was watching this thing with like the Russians. They were allegedly, the Russian government was over at in the UK, and there was a guy, an attendant, working in like the parking garage. He was on a different floor though, and he was driving like his little golf cart. And this car came around really fast and left, and the guy keeps going on like up the parking garage, and these allegedly Russians came and him with really good silencer. He never heard pew pews ever. That's scary.
No logical reason to have one on your gun unless you plan to actually harm somebody with it and keep it quiet.
You and I talked last time about the shell casings that were found at the scene in the house, which you were saying were going to be very, very important. It turns out now the police chief says those shell casings have connected back to Dr. McKee's gun, which they found in his residence. Are you surprised that he kept the murder weapon like that? I mean, couldn't he have thrown it out of the car or thrown it in a lake? Or, you see that in other cases.
He was so dumb.
Kroger always gives you more ways
Oh
to
my
save,
God, I'm so
like low
embarrassed.
prices and.
Sorry, guys. I thought I had it on my channel list or my commercial list one. I apologize. I was showing a commercial.
Neighbors who might hear shots. So, I mean, the fact that you go
fast forward this a little
and
bit.
buys a silencer unless they plan to use it, and there is no logical reason to have one on your gun unless you
like that. I mean, couldn't he have thrown it out of the car or thrown it in a lake? Or, you see that in other cases.
Could he have? Not only could he have, should have, except I'm glad. Listen, the short answer to your question, Brian, why would he still have the gun on him, is because he is an idiot. And I don't mean to be unkind, but, he is natively intelligent. He's smart enough to make it through medical school and become a surgeon.
Put a 1 in the chat if you agree that he is an idiot for not throwing that pew pew away. I mean, he did not, like, he could have done a hell of a lot better job. He is an idiot. Bad idiot. Really bad idiot.
And yet with that comes a certain God complex we often talk about with surgeons, particularly. Don't beat me up, surgeons, but you know that many surgeons, because the work they do is the fine line very often between life and death, they fancy themselves incredibly intelligent, but with that comes a certain amount of arrogance. And in this particular case, I would think that even though he was highly intelligent, the arrogance got in the way and made him overconfident. And the overconfidence is like, they're not going to come for me. They're never going to think it's me. Why do I need to get rid of this gun? I like this gun. I paid for this gun. Why should I throw it in the lake? And, from the best laid plans, the most brilliant murder plans, you're going to make 10 mistakes.
A laugh a day. I agree with that. I kind of think he would rather be seen as a crazy unaliver rather than a failure. He couldn't separate failure from identity, in my opinion. Yes. A lot of people are saying souvenir was the word I was looking for. He believed he would not be caught, in my opinion. I think he did think he would not be caught. He's just that arrogant. He thinks he's more intelligent than anybody else, and he's not.
At least. And keeping the gun was his most obvious one, and leaving DNA at the scene.
When I saw him in court, my first impression was he just looked like emotionless, but also kind of like he didn't have much fight left in him, if that makes any sense. Is there any chance, do you think, that he just has given up at this point, didn't care to hide the murder weapon because I'm probably going to get caught anyway, and let's just see how this plays out?
I don't think so.
There had to be something, Brian, in his subconscious that made him very aware of the incredibly high risk of this crime that he perpetrated, because he's going to be an obvious suspect. Of course, we always look at the ex-husband anytime a wife is killed. And it's a bit of a tug of war in his reasoning, like in the little reasoning brain chamber he has. He's like, no one will ever suspect me. I'm a fine, upstanding vascular surgeon with no criminal history. And, that's the overconfidence. And it's at a tug of war with the logical fear and the assessment of.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Cassie. I do think he is a lot, kind of like this incel, like, if you will. He's very academically intelligent, but that's all. That's all. There is no substance with him. He does not know how to bond with people. He's socially awkward, and failure in his eyes makes him look weak. Right? Looks like his brain is in his cheek. April. Kind of does. You're right.
Risk, which you would think he would be good at. But in the end, he knew that the chances were very high that he would be questioned and even caught. And in the end, the overconfidence in the tug of war won out. And this is probably fed by the fact that we've learned a bit more about him that shows he was on a downward spiral at work. He had malpractice suits where he was named. His life was unraveling. He didn't have a happy marriage. He didn't have beautiful children. He didn't have a lovely golden doodle. And I think that in his effort to scapegoat his misery and his depression, he focused on his ex-wife. And it could have been anybody in the scapegoat world, but Monique was an easy target.
Now, they're sticking it to him, right? Because he's got 4 counts of aggravated red rum unaliving, right? And 1 count of aggravated burglary, which 2 counts of premeditated unaliving, right? And then he's got 2 counts of unaliving during the commission of a felony. And that's also a safe way of, like, the prosecutor saying, no matter which way the jury takes this, he's not walking free. They're making sure that this is as airtight as mother chicken possible. As mother chicken possible. They got a backup plan. Yes. Yep. Exactly. He ain't walking. in my opinion. He's innocent until proven, and unless until proven guilty. Uh, but yeah, he's in my opinion, he's a walking dead man.
Target because she was so happy and living such a different life with her new husband than she ever had with him. So, I mean, the bottom
Angel
line
of
is, did he
light.
think he was going to get caught? Not consciously, but subconsciously. He had to know that it was extremely likely and that he would be the number one suspect. And I think to a certain extent, maybe he didn't care.
Do you think this came out of nowhere after 8 years, or do you think they had some kind of communication and saw each other? Because, like you mentioned, we've learned more, and there are friends now of hers who have come forward and said that she still feared him. She still thought about him.
We will probably find that out through a big, deep dive on their digital media if he had made phone calls to her or texted her or
Put a 1 in the chat if you think he was always looking at her and Spencer. If you always think like he was looking at what they were doing, put a 1 in the chat, whether that's social media, whatever it was. Yeah. I think he was obsessively, constantly looking to see what she was doing. I don't think there was a long break from that, but I think he did try. Hey, Sharon.
emailed her. That will surface. It's too early in the game to know. But to the extent that she's watching his social media, which she probably does because she
Not
lives in
she,
fear of
he.
him.
Did
She
he?
wants to know where he is and what he's doing and if he's happy, what's going on at work, because she's afraid if he goes off the deep end, he might come for her, as her friends have confirmed. And the bottom line is he's watching her social media. And I know she can block him, but come on, there's 1,000 ways around that. They probably still had mutual friends in common, and he could check in with a friend who would show her, her Instagram and her beautiful, happy family and all that sort of thing. I'm sure he kept constant tabs on her and very likely even physically stalked her around the house or cased that house. This was planned. He didn't just jump in the car that night and decide to do it. He got the gun. He got the silencer. He drove down. There was a lot of forethought in this. So
I wonder how long he planned this. That's the question, is how long did he plan this? Is this something that he took a few days to plan? Is this something when my next day off I'm going to do? Is this something that was months? Right? Jamie Brown. I hope I'm not very. Just 48 minutes, Jamie. Good to see you, honey. So whatever he wanted to do or didn't want to do, she felt stalked. Yes, I agree with that. Yep, and their Airbnb place right around there and across the street. There certainly is. Yep. You think so? Planning since the end of you mean 2024? They died in 2025. Maybe he was triggering his life falling apart, and she was living her absolutely pink roses, 1,000%.
So, the bottom line is we don't know if they communicated directly, but I can guarantee you she was never out of his mind. And so he was communicating with her in his mind and sowing the seeds of bitterness and resentment.
Oh, wow.
Over
That's
her happiness.
interesting. He was communicating with her in his mind. That's a real deep-seated craziness. Yeah.
When you say he may have stalked the house, how can they figure out if he did that? The investigators, will they be able to? I mean, I guess it's like I'm thinking about how I had to go through tolls or cameras or.
All of that, plus the surveillance cameras that are on the streets in that area, one of which picked up a figure in a back alley near the house, a block or two away, which by all accounts, we think was probably him. It's not yet confirmed, but they will go through thousands of hours of video footage looking for any sign of his car or his person and presence to determine whether or not he had really come around and sat. One of the
Good point. He didn't know that. He knew that house. He knew how that house was laid out. I mean, there was pictures online, right? They got so much footage. So much footage, girl.
questions that people still ask is, how did he know the code? Assuming he got in that way to their digital keypad. And there's ways you can do that. I mean, with a telephoto lens, you can just watch somebody walk in the front door and parked across the street and see what numbers they push. I mean, my
Let's see.
2 cents, I suspect that the digital code, if Monique set it up when they renovated that house, was probably the same digital code that she had when she lived with her ex-husband, maybe her birthday or her zip code or something like that. And it seems like a Hail Mary pass to just show up and not know the code. But this is something that is still nagging on all of us. How did he get into that house?
Yeah, no forced entry. We still don't know. I've heard a couple of theories too about whether the kids may have been locked in a room, or whether he may have locked the door to where he allegedly killed Monique and Spencer, maybe to keep the 4-year-old out. So we're still trying to get the police haven't released very much officially.
Okay, so
but we do know there was a grand jury and there's now 4.
Let's talk about that door, right? Let's talk about the door, because how did he get in that door? That's one of the questions everybody wants to know. And there could be different points on how that happened, right? So did it, is there like a master reset code? He could have even called the manufacturer and been like, listen, I got this lock. I wanted to, is there like this master reset code that I could do? Did backdoor have a code too? Yes, I think he went through the backdoor from what I understand. It could be a code tied to a birthday, their kid's birthday, his birthday, her birthday, a combination of the birthdays. It could be the anniversary when they got married, and it could be a number sequence that Miss Monique used for years. What else? Ooh, 1 second. Hold on, what just happened? This new, I do not like this mouse. After today, I am not using this mouse, I'm telling you. Okay. So there is a number of ways that she could have, they could have gotten in. Let me see here. All right, let me just play this for a second.
Counts of aggravated murder. Do you know why 4? Because you would think like 2, because two victims.
Okay, 2 murders, but 2 different, what we call the corpus delicti, which means the combination of criminal intent, criminal act, and concurrence. Now, just follow me here. He broke into this house or entered this house with the intent to commit a felony. Okay, that's the burglary. It doesn't have to be a larceny. The felony could be the murder. Now, they're expected, the defense attorney might say he came over to talk to Monique. He didn't plan to kill her, or he came in and he was going to steal stuff, but he wasn't going to kill anybody. And then somebody surprised him and he shot them. But he didn't plan to kill anybody.
There's also reports that there was an Airbnb, I think across the street and down the street, right? It could have been something like that. He could have watched the pattern. He's a very intelligent guy, right? He could have uh, spoke to someone that knew the code. I don't think that's as likely, in my opinion. But he got in there. He got in there. Death penalty is an easy way anyway. Plus, it takes how many years to just wait? It, yeah. I mean, death penalty is, hey, Wolfie, death penalty is one of those things. There's a lot of, um, it's scrutinized the case itself, and so many things are not allowed in a death penalty case that would normally allowed in a life sentence case.
Ancillary to the burglary. There was no forethought. So that's one set of charges. And in a nutshell, Brian, they are trying to, it's a preemptive
Yeah.
strike, a fail safe.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't think he went to the door at 3 o'clock in the morning and Spencer opened it or Monique opened it or anything like that at all. At all. I think he went there and had the plan, whatever that plan is. Whether he figured out a way to even, you know, pick it or keep pick the window open or unlock the window, something, but he got in there.
In case the most logical explanation, which is that he planned it, there was criminal intent, there was calculation and design, I think is the way that they phrase it in that particular jurisdiction. In case the jury doesn't believe that he calculated it and designed it, the intent to murder, they've got the burglary as a backup, because murdering in the commission of a burglary
See what I
is a
said?
whole different set of murder charges. In other words, they could be found guilty of one set of those murder charges or even both.
Makes sense. You mentioned some of his professional issues. There's now this lawsuit that's come out of Nevada that he's involved in. Apparently, he was supervising a physician's assistant
Listen
who
to this.
left a pretty large catheter in someone. And the lawyer has come forward that was trying to sue Dr. McKee and said that he was having such a hard time finding him, that he tried serving him 9 times.
8.5 inches. It was close to 8.5 inches catheter left inside of this person's leg. That is not the 8.5 inches you want left in you. Okay. That's certainly not the one.
That they went to his old place that he worked in Nevada, and they said that he just packed up and disappeared. And this was all before, in the years before the murders. Do you think that could have anything to do anything? I mean, is that important to the investigation?
Well, to me, it just supports the idea that this doctor's life was unraveling. And I'm sorry, toughen up, Buttercup. When you're a doctor, you're going to get sued. It's why you have malpractice insurance. But
exactly. Every doctor is going to get sued in their career. Every single doctor. Right? You would never have a code lock. I have a code lock. All of mine are codes. But a lot of them will tell you when they're open. Like they'll tell you on your phone or whatever how long the door was opened. And also these keypads, you can have multiple pins for the door. You can have your own pin. Everyone in the house can have their own pin as well. Extremely hard to sue doctors in Canada. US is different. Really? Yeah, well, because that's you guys have universal health care. Here, doctors have to pay what they call malpractice insurance, and it is very, very expensive. Oops, I did it again. Hit the button. Sorry.
This is a man who seems to run from his problems instead of facing them head on. You've got insurance, let them deal with it. Mistakes do happen. Under the captain of the ship doctrine in law, in tort law, because he was in charge of the physician assistant who made the mistake, he is the guy who is liable and culpable. And he probably doesn't think that's fair, and he disagrees with the law and doesn't want to be sued. So, I mean, the fact that that the lawyers tried to serve him 9 times and he ducked out and managed to evade them every one of those times, it shows that he just is a man who shirks responsibility. He thinks he can run from his problems, that he can outrun his problems, that they won't catch up with him. Instead of just saying, all right, this is going to be tough, but I'm going to grab the bull by the horns and I'm just going to face it head on. And if that is his character, if that is his personality, to, blame everybody else and feel like he is the victim of a witch hunt, he will be looking for a scapegoat for his misery. And it's compounding.
That's what
It's
I've said. I've
compounding daily. He
wondered.
has problems at work. His wife left him and divorced him and is having a wonderful, happy life with her new husband. Who knows what else was going on in his life? But in the end, he decided, we see this a lot. And you asked me earlier, do you think he meant he knew he would be caught? There is always this thing they don't want to be caught, but their life is going down the toilet, so to speak. And they decide that if it's going to be bad, they might as well find a scapegoat and take vengeance on this entity, in his case, Monique and her husband, who he wants to blame for all of his problems. And it's kind of like a last act on your way out of town. If he knows that his life is really kind of over, especially professionally, he may decide to do something incredibly rash, like kill his ex-wife and her husband, because whatever, he's going to go to prison. He doesn't really care. Life is over for him as he knows it. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of bad stuff going on in his life when he committed this alleged crime.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about him as a doctor.
I think he did. I think that the only thing I can think of is he was either operating without malpractice insurance, because this is the thing. This doctor, he did not have a lot of, I mean, usually doctors have quite a bit of money, and this guy just didn't. I mean, he had a $400,000 penthouse, but he was constantly moving. And so I think, in my opinion, we are going to find out that there's going to be a big addiction to something or another, whether that is substance, whether that is gambling, whether that is hookers. It's going to be something like that. I'm telling you, it's going to be something like that, because if he couldn't pay, like, malpractice insurance it's expensive. It's fucking ridiculous, because someone sues you, they have to pay out minimum of tens of thousands, usually hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. And it will happen eventually at some time. But I wondered, is that why he moved to Vegas? Right? Was he working under potentially a shady firm? Did he, give potentially, allegedly false documents that he had malpractice insurance? Did they not care? Or did they not know? Right? His life was going down the toilet. Something was, this came out just a little bit ago. Friend of dentist and wife unalived in Columbus reacts to their deaths. think he was on steroids. I think there's going to be a lot. I think there's going to be a lot that's out. Vegas, there's a lot of doctors, and I mean, there's like a YouTuber on here. She used to date a doctor in Vegas. He was a plastic surgeon. He unalived himself. Like, doctors aren't. A lot of them aren't as sane as you think they are. I'll tell you that.
Murdered
Some
his
are.
ex-wife and her
A lot are.
husband in their Columbus home. Today, a Franklin County grand jury indicted Michael McKee on 5 counts of murder. A patient in Illinois told our news partners in Columbus, WBNS TV, McKee treated him 4 days before police found Spencer and Monique Tepe's bodies. They and their children were also in the home, but not hurt. And here's that patient.
I felt I had to draw the information out of him rather than him just being forthright and saying, hey, Mr. Miller, this is the problem. This is what you got going on.
McKee is still waiting for investigators to move him to a jail in Columbus. That will likely happen next week. And a friend of the Tepes said she was not surprised investigators arrested McKee.
Lacey Crisp, with our news partner in Columbus, has the emotional interview.
If you knew Monique, you knew this was what happened to her.
Gina Spinelli has been friends with Spencer and Monique Tepe for years and says Mo's smile would light up a room. She explained Mo felt grateful for having Spencer after such a hard first marriage to Michael McKee.
She never called it. I didn't even know his name. She never said Michael. She said my ex. She said he was bad. She said abusive. I don't think I ever got the impression that she was afraid of him. I got the impression that she hated him and that she knew things were bad there. And I don't think it ever fully left her mind. I don't think anyone thought that this was going to happen. I also don't think that she ever thought he would leave her alone for the rest of her life.
Columbus police said there weren't any reports filed regarding abuse or a request for a restraining order against McKee. When Spinelli got the call with the devastating news that 2 of her dear friends had been killed inside their home, she only thought of one person, the person police arrested Saturday and charged Sunday with premeditated murder.
Do you have any idea why now, after all of these years, that he's accused of doing this heinous act?
I think it's just because everything you see the wedding video, everything that people see is who they really were. And they were so perfect and they were so wonderful. And I think he couldn't live with it. I think he could not fathom her happiness. And she was so happy.
And that was Lacey
Couldn't
Crisp
fathom her
reporting that Tepe's
happiness.
children are currently living with other family members.
More boxes.
Couldn't fathom her happiness. I agree with that. So they are planning to extradite old McKee. Old McKee had a jail cell. E-I-E-I-O. Mother chicken. Get used to it, bish. You're going to a stainless steel toilet. That's what you're going to. And Bubba. You're going to Bubba. Ish.
Plans are in motion to bring Michael McKee back to Columbus to face charges. McKee is accused of killing his ex-wife, Monique Tepe, and her husband, Spencer, inside their Wineland Park home. This was last month. 10 TV's Lacey Crisp has led our coverage of this case since the very start of it. And new at 5, she spoke to a former Franklin County sheriff about the process getting McKee back to Columbus.
Now that McKee has been indicted, the case moves from the municipal court to the Court of Common Pleas. That means it's now the sheriff's office responsibility to bring him from Illinois here to Franklin County.
I brought him back driving. I brought him back flying. And I've not had anybody act out or act silly. So I've been very fortunate in that.
Zach Scott was the Franklin County Sheriff from 2011 until 2016 and served more than 30 years in law enforcement.
I tell you, like, if I don't know, it would be hard not to turn the camera off while you were driving and just pull over and just potentially, allegedly, you know, your fist go right across his face. It would just be, it would be a shame for that to happen, you know? Um, I would make sure his vascular, regions would allegedly, potentially be purple. Purple. What's your favorite color? Purple. Bruise. If he was a real man, he would have moved on. Yeah, exactly. He's a
Enforcement. As sheriff, he oversaw the unit responsible for transporting inmates from other jurisdictions to Franklin County.
The Warrants and Extradition Squad is a separate group away from the Detective Bureau, away from patrol. That's their main function all the time. They do go through training. Obviously, if you're going to bring back somebody on a commercial airline, there's training with that. They go through regular training that we all go through. Where there's use of force, it's how to put on proper restraints. Then there's restraints for transportation.
He said when he was sheriff, that unit would average transporting 3 to 4 inmates a month, like McKee, across state lines. He says the team tries to make plans as secretly as possible for everyone's safety.
Generally speaking, it's 2 people that are going out. And like you said, it's very important to not know the date of departure. You don't want anybody to know that because they're holding them in a jail and they can go in. There's usually a sally port, some way to obstruct people being able to see in and out.
Angel, are you going to bed? Are you going to bed? Angel, you can't leave me. No. You gotta stay
Out,
here.
and then the doors open, and then you don't have no idea what car is coming out of there. So that's very important for safety for the officers and the inmate, because sometimes people want to shoot the inmate or the suspect, and so it's safer for everyone that nobody knows what time you're actually departing.
Once McKee is transported here to Franklin County, he'll have his first court appearance and will be arraigned. In Columbus, Lacey Crisp, 10 TV News.
I hope an ex-prosecutor came out before and said there's no ruling out going to a federal. See, I really don't care if it goes federal because federal means he gets a more cushier jail. You know what I mean? Generally. And so I don't really care if it goes federal or whatever, right? Because if it goes federal, it's, I don't know. What do you guys think? But they allegedly have him going in and out, getting out of his car and going back in his car. That area is lit up with cameras. Lit up with cameras. Uh, it's crazier. Also, Spencer was what, 37? He was a little bit younger than McKee. To me, he appeared a happy person as well. Right. Yeah. Yep. He appears happier. He's certainly more loved than McKee, right? Appears more successful, more stable, new husband, new family, new life kind of thing as well. So, I think he's just kind of a jerk. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, love. The Ohio's sister. Oh, I want to show you all this. Let me throw myself off again. I have a picture somewhere. Oh, guys, let me show you something real quick, kind of on the side. If you are in Kansas, specifically Wichita, please take a good look at these two young boys. Wichita, Kansas. They're looking for two runaway boys on Sunday evening. The department says 15-year-old Ernest Day and 13-year-old is how do you pronounce his last name? Athesia Day was last seen at the 1000 block of South Seneca Street. Oh, hold on one second. We got something going on here. Okay. And so that's where it's at. If you see them, please call 911 immediate. Astesia was last seen wearing a black hoodie with green graphics. He's 4'10", approximately 92 pounds. Ernest was last seen wearing a tan hoodie, sweatshirt, and black sweatpants. He's 5'7", approximately 118 pounds. I've been watching this case. There's not a lot out on them right now. Hardly anything at all. I have seen hundreds of cases in Ohio go federal, mostly clearly. Yeah. They don't play, but it's just a little more cushy, generally. Madeline Tepe Misla. If I'm saying that last name right. Miss Lay. She is speaking out on her brother. You're funny, Faith. Very kind. Here we go. This is Spencer and Madeline. Spencer's sister. Madeline Tepe Misla says her older brother, Spencer Tepe, was one of her biggest cheerleaders and was always proud. She says she was 2 years younger than Spencer, is mourning her brother and his wife, Monique Tepe, following the couple's death on December 30th. She opens up to People magazine about their last memory and how it was a full circle from one of their favorite childhood activities. Madeline Tepe mislaid last memory of her brother, Spencer Tepe, before the shocking unaliving in December, was on Christmas Day when Tepe beamed at her latest artistic creation, princess dresses for Tepe's 3-year-old daughter, Emila. My brother has always been one of my biggest fans, she says, and she's 35 years old, and one of my biggest fans of my art, so he's always proud. She says she spoke to People nearly 3 weeks after Tepe's, alongside his wife, Spencer and Monique, 37 and 39, were found slain in their Columbus home, Ohio. The couple's 3-year-old and 1-year-old were found nearby, physically unharmed. The slaying came as a shock to the Tepe's friends and family, left unable to fathom who would want to harm the madly in love couple. On January 10th, police arrested Michael McKee, 39. Okay. She says, we grew up playing Nintendo 64 and we were playing Mario Kart, and Spencer and Monique got a Nintendo Switch for Christmas, recalls the sister. So the last night I was with them, we were all playing Mario Kart. It was a full circle moment. That's sweet. That's very sweet. She then shares a favorite memory. We gave the controllers and Spencer to Monique, and they gave us we gave them controllers, and Spencer and Monique gave us electric toothbrushes. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. They gave them in Nintendo Switch controllers, and they gave them toothbrushes. That's a typical dentist. That is a typical dentist, don't you think? Um, so funny. Hold on, where did it go? Where did it go? Okay, here we go. All right. She then shares a favorite memory. We gave them controllers and okay, wait, okay. This that's Spencer? That's Madeline and Spencer, ages 15 and 17. Wow. Look at that. Don't forget to smooch, the like, subscribe, and share. Help get the story out. That's right, girl. I always said you need a dentist, doctor, lawyer, and a veterinarian in the family. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had all my shots and I've been dewormed. I'll have you know. And I just got my front line and my advantage. That's Spencer just looks so different there. You can tell they were really close. The sister says her brother Spencer was her biggest cheerleader and supporter during his time at dental school. She says she let him practice his skills on her. I was Spencer's practice patient for Invisalign, so I always going up to Columbus while he was in dental school. She called with a laugh. Spencer, known as the protective brother and son, was always a youth mentor who grew close with his uh, mentees' family over the decades he worked with them. His mentee, whom he guided for his first grade through high school, even came to Spencer's dental graduation in 2017. Spencer was always involved. He was always in a club. She says, always pushing the limits everywhere. Hmm. Just really tragic, man. She didn't look like she's got a beautiful smile. Um, very sad. Very sad. Let me see here. Have anything? I had a picture earlier of. Oh, here we go. Here's the dipshit. Y'all ready for this? Here is McKee from birth to murder, alleged murder. And when I see this picture, I've seen this picture before. I don't know why. Let me show you the one. This one. I just get Koberger vibes when I see this one. And look at his ears. He had to have those motherfuckers pinned. Look at those ears. He looks like a rat. A rat bastard. He had to have him pinned. Don't you think? So sorry. I booted myself again. Yes, Kohlberger was vain also changed his image. hmm He went all vegan and all that stuff, didn't he? Guys, if you live up in the north, basically cut the United States in half up. Um, there's going to be northern lights, the strongest solar radiation storm in more than 20 years, according to NOAA and the NWS Space Weather Prediction Center is in progress. The last one of a similar magnitude was observed in October 2003. This has led to a geomagnetic storm condition, thus enhancing northern lights potential tonight after sunset into early Tuesday before sunrise. For the northeastern, okay, never mind, not that part. And it's going to be in some places -10 and -20. If you get out your phone, you can see it even better. His new name is Red Rum. Yep, that's what I would call him too. Exactly. Anything else? Oh, I'll play that tomorrow. Let me see. I did the two Kansas brothers. They're did the extradition. Yep. Okay. I think that's all on this one. God bless you, Andrea. How far north are we talking? I mean, the farther north you are, the better. But just like cut the United States in half this way, like horizontally. And if you're like above that, you can see. Ohio, you'll definitely be able to see. I mean, it's even way further south than that. Take your phone outside and put your camera up on the sky, and you'll really be able to see it. I feel bad for the guy. No one deserves to lose a life. You feel bad for him, Tina? I don't feel bad for him. No. Listen, he has had all of the success in life, right? So many people are not given the opportunities that he was given, right? Justin, I live a block away from here. Isabella's car was found in the really. We are going live with that next. This is the thing. Yes, he's certainly privileged. We are given our life, right? And we are responsible for our happiness. We're responsible for it. And most of the things in life, some things we can't control. We just can't. But we are responsible for how we react, what we do, and all of that. Yeah. Okay, Sandwich, thank you. Thanks, love. I have to go to bed early, CT scan. Oh, Lori, praying for you, honey. Everything's going to be good. Everything's going to be good. All right, guys, I will see you guys here in a little bit. Make sure you're subbed up to my Justin Fraud channel. I will be going live tonight with Pearl. And make sure you're on Remy Pearl's channel as well. But I'll be going live probably on my J for A channel. Yeah. Yeah, babe. Bless you. There's a difference in defending yourself and taking a life and doing it for, war or something like that. That's different. But just, unaliving people in their house just because they were living, that's a whole different beast. Whole different beast. Much love, everyone. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Thank you all so much. Love y'all. Bye.